What we've got now is the issue with hiring someone to fill the role at the Bureau of Labor Statistics that Donald Trump fired the commissioner from because his job numbers suck.
Will the Bureau of Labor Statistics continue to put out monthly jobs reports?
Well, look, what I'll tell you about the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I believe that is the plan and that's the hope, and that these monthly reports will be data that the American people can trust. As you know, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has made massive revisions after the last several points reports that they have put out. And there has certainly been a decline in the quality and the reliability of data coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and there's been an increase in revisions. And this president and the administration is finally tackling this problem that so many have talked about, and the president is actually doing something about it. We need to restore new leadership that we can trust. As you know, the president has appointed someone new to take over the BLS, and so we need to look at the means and the methods of how the United States is acquiring this very important data, and all of that is going to be done, and the goal, of course, is to provide honest and good data for the American people to make very important economic decisions on.
Of all that detailed data that they loved whenever it benefited them. And now, when it showed how disastrous this guy's economic agenda is destroying jobs and the economy in this country, now they had to hurry up and switch to get someone that's a MAGA guy to come in and carry this. Come on, man. Nobody actually believes that this guy is on the up and up. The fact that he's been a part about this whole thing and they're hiring someone to then tell everyone whatever it is that they want told. But it gets a little bit worse than that, though.
I know you said earlier the hope is to maintain monthly job reports, but the president's new nominee for BLS Commissioner E.J. Antoni recently told Fox Business that the BLS should suspend issuing monthly job reports and only issue quarterly reports until the jobs data methodology is corrected. So does the president disagree with that assessment that his nominee has said there, or suspending these monthly job reports a real option?
I think he floated the idea of possibly suspending until they can get the data and the methodology in order. And this president wants to ensure that the BLS, again, is putting out accurate and honest data that the American people can trust. Since you brought up the new commissioner, he holds a master's and doctor's degree in economics from Northern Illinois University. He's the chief economist in the Heritage Foundation's Center for the Federal Budget. And in addition to his work at Heritage, he has multiple other roles. He's been widely renowned for his work on economic issues. He's been called before Congress to testify as an economic expert. So he's a qualified individual, and the president trusts him to lead this important department.
First of all, the fact that they're going to suspend the reports because, why have reports? Come on, bro. I mean, what we need to do is just tell people everything is great and rosy. And we just added 10 million, 100 million jobs last month, and there's going to be another 500 million the next month. Matter of fact, and I can already tell in November, there's going to be like 10 trillion more jobs added in November. I can already tell already because, this qualified guy who worked at the Heritage Foundation as their economic guy is the one I'm placing in. I'm just going to ask again. Did we forget that the Heritage Foundation were the authors of Project 2025 that implemented all the things that this guy is implementing, this fascist takeover of the country as they're destroying people's lives? But we're gonna install someone at the Bureau of Labor Statistics once we've seen job numbers from this guy come out that will put someone there that worked at the Heritage Foundation who authored Project 2025 that Donald Trump had no idea existed. Never heard of it in his life. He's just got everyone from that organization running his administration and put together their blueprint for this destruction of the country for the benefit of the people that they're benefiting. But he's highly qualified because she said so. Let me tell you more about E.J. Antoni. This is him probably from December. It's from December of 2024. And it's not necessarily what he's talking about, even though what he's talking about is with inflation numbers and how we're, screwing up the economy because Joe Biden was just getting kicked out of office. But as that was happening, just pay attention to what's behind him.
It's not the businesses that are causing inflation. It's not the consumer that's causing inflation. It's government spending, because when the government spends, in this case, trillions of dollars they don't have, they go to the Federal Reserve to get them to print the money in order to finance those trillions of dollars in runaway government spending. And the result of that is a devaluation of the dollar.
The main thing about that appearance, as you saw the highlighted point out, is that ship that's behind him. Again, I mean, there's some haters online that pointed this out. Experts have noticed that Trump's new head of labor statistics appears to have a Nazi ship hanging behind him in his office. Because they're not Nazis. They're not the type of folks that praise and idolize Hitler in the way that he went about doing exactly what they're going about doing right now. But no one really wanted to believe it. In fact, if you guys, the ship is behind him, and people who are, I guess, are World War II buffs noticed it. Here's another image of it, as people pointed out what it is that was behind him, that image that was behind him. And there was, of course, other folks that said, "Oh, nonsense, bullshit. You guys are crazy. You guys just have Trump derangement syndrome. How dare you? You don't really think that that's a Nazi ship, do you?" Except when, people pay attention and research these things. By the way, I mean, look into things for 35 seconds. It was the ship Bismarck. Bismarck was the first of two Bismarck-class battleships built for, guess, Nazi Germany's Kriegsmarine. Named after Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, the ship was laid down at the Bohm and Voss shipyard in Hamburg in July of 1936 and launched in February of 1939. Work was completed in August of 1940 when she was commissioned into the German fleet. It's just easy. You know what's easy to do? Just say like, yeah, actually, I have a image of the Bismarck behind me because I'm a Nazi. And as I come into the Bureau of Labor Statistics, my idea is to carry water for the Nazi president who's implementing fascism throughout the country and destroying the economy at the same time. I'm here to lie for him while he does that. I mean, we're already seeing it. But that's the new guy. And when asked one more time, back to Caroline Levitt, about those jobs reports and also inflation numbers, because inflation is also handled by the same bureau, this is the answer that she had.
Just on the BLS, they collect the inflation data, obviously. If the jobs data is not reliable, should Americans trust the inflation data?
Well, look, the jobs data has had massive revisions. We want to ensure that all of the data, the inflation data, the jobs data, any data point that is coming out of the BLS is trustworthy and is accurate, which is why the president has restored new leadership at the BLS.
That's not really an answer. Will we be able to trust the inflation numbers? I mean, that's why I installed new people, because we don't care if you trust the water carriers and liars and well-known Nazis that we put in place at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What is the Commissioner of Bureau of Labor Statistics supposed to do to change all this? We already heard from former commissioners from that department talk about how it's not the commissioner who does all this. But in Donald Trump's fascist regime, all you need is a figurehead to tell everyone what their reality is without actually giving us the information behind it. Or in this case, to not give it at all. With a straight face, Caroline Levitt tells you, we're looking to have more trust in these agencies, so we're going to put very untrustworthy liars in those positions for you to trust, and we'll just tell you you're going to trust them. Small businesses have questions about what's happening to them as well, too.
We've had small businesses tell us that it's not foreign exporters who are eating the tariffs, it's them. And they've held off on raising prices, but soon they're going to have to raise prices. What is the White House's message to them?
The White House's message to our small business owners across the country is you have never had a better ally or friend or supporter in this White House than President Donald Trump, who is a businessman himself, who understands your concerns and who wants to restore wealth back to our country through the powerful use of tariffs. And that's what he's focused on doing, while simultaneously driving down costs. You have to remember, we are 6 months into this administration, and we had a president who had no business experience, had no idea what he was doing, and who funneled billions of wasteful spending dollars into our economy, which created the worst inflation crisis in a generation. Now this president is focused on tackling inflation, deregulating, cutting costs, cutting red tape to make it easier for small business owners to thrive. And again, the economic indicators show that we are moving in the right direction. In January, when this president showed up to the White House, the 6-month annualized core inflation rate was 3.7%. Today, 6 months later, the 6-month annualized core inflation rate is 2.4%. So we are trending in the right direction, moving forward since President Trump took office, for another 6 months, inflation will be tracking at 1.9%. At this trajectory, you look at grocery prices, they fell, energy prices fell, fuel oil fell, ship fares fell, propane fell, butter, margarine, eggs, non-prescription drugs. You go through the list of items that are falling.
Her answer to small businesses saying that they're dealing with higher costs that they'll have to pass down or go out of businesses. You never had a better friend than President Trump. And all those realities and the experiences that they've got, not real. What you've got is someone who then said, you're going to deal with such a better situation. Let me tell you these made up numbers that I've got that, again, how are there reliable numbers from January from the Bureau of Labor Statistics about inflation rates and stuff when that liar that he just fired was ahead of it? These things aren't adding up. It's almost like reality changes whenever they want it to. And then as we go through the rest of this year, despite the reality of the experience of people having to pay more for things, your gas prices have gone down. Everything has gone down. Can't you tell? Despite the fact that grocery stores and big warehouse box stores have all told you we're raising prices.